Hey there friends, I'm Andrew Wilkinson, and with July in our headlights, you might be thinking the planting season is winding down, but not here in Massachusetts, not in my garden, and not for those of you in 6B. July is one of the most important months for setting up a successful summer and fall harvest. The window's narrow though. Some crops need to go in right now, or you'll miss your chance at a meaningful harvest. Others are surprisingly well suited to midsummer sowings and will do great in the weeks ahead. And here's the thing, this video isn't just a list of crops. We're going to discuss why we plant certain things in July. Because when you understand the why, you stop relying on charts and calendars and even videos just like this one. And you start building that walk-around knowledge, the kind where you can glance at an empty garden bed, think about the season, and just know what belongs there and when. You start to recognize which crops love warm soil but don't mind cooler fall nights, which ones need to finish before the last frost, and which actually get better when the cool weather sets in. So today, I'll walk you through exactly what to plant this month, broken into early, mid, and late month sowings, so you can keep your garden productive and packed straight through fall. Right now, I'm showing you a hardiness map. Take a moment to find your zone because knowing it will be helpful throughout this video. In just a moment, I'll also show you a table with how many days are left in the growing season as of both July 1st and July 31st for each zone. This is going to help you figure out exactly which crops you still have time to plant. And hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and let's dig in. Okay, let's start with the crops that you don't want to miss. And for me, that's carrots. Those are on the top of that list. Carrots take about 80 days to mature and are a staple crop in my garden. But I'll be the first to admit they aren't the easiest to master. They need the right timing, they need good soil prep, constant moisture when germinating, and a little patience. But when you get it right, there's nothing more rewarding. One of my favorite aromas in the garden is the smell of pulling out a mature carrot. They aren't like those bagged abomination carrots that you buy at the store, and they're not even comparable to the expensive organic ones, the ones with the tops still attached. Side note, don't leave those carrot tops on your carrots. Cut them off immediately. The carrots will last longer and they'll taste better. The carrots you plant early in July are special. These aren't just for fall harvest. These are also your overwintering carrots. Last year, I sowed a bed in July and I never bothered with fancy protection. I didn't even cut the tops off when they died back. I just left them there all winter, under the snow, under the ice, forgotten about until spring. And let me tell you, as soon as the soil softened in late winter, I came back and pulled the most incredible, sweet, crisp carrots that you can imagine. Sweeter than anything that you can harvest in the fall. And this works because carrots get sweeter after frost. The plant converts starches into sugars as a natural antifreeze, so the roots don't freeze up and split. And that sugar, it just happens to make them taste incredible. But the window's tight. Carrots grow slowly when the days get shorter in the fall. If you wait until mid or late July to plant, they may not have enough time to size up and you'll end up with baby carrots at best. Early July is the last realistic shot for a proper harvest here in Zone 6 climates. For me, carrots are a crop worth learning deeply because once you figure them out, from summer sowings to overwintered spring harvests, they become a foundational part of your garden that pays you back year after year. Right alongside carrots, I'm sowing beets for the exact same reason. They like the same conditions, and this is also more or less the last time I'll be planting beets, although you may be able to squeeze them in towards the end of the month. Although they're like carrots, they're not good for overwintering that I've found. This is because the roots swell above ground and they tend to freeze, rot. It's just not good. Okay, and then there's kale, which takes 60 days to mature. I'm not sowing any more kale this year, but if I had not made out with a healthy plants as of now, this would be the last time I'd sow kale for the year. It loves the cool, crisp days of fall, and it only gets better as the frost hits. But it needs time to establish before the days get too short when there's no energy. If you're feeling adventurous, this is the last window for planting corn. It typically needs around 85 days to mature, which fits just fine into our remaining frost-free days. But it is still a gamble. As summer fades into fall, the sunlight gets weaker by the day, and heavy feeders like corn demand a lot of energy to make us food. With a fast-maturing variety and a little bit of luck with the frost, you might just pull it off. I'm also sneaking in one final round of first early potatoes, which take about 75 days to mature. These won't store like main crop potatoes because their skins stay thin, but they're perfect for tender, buttery, new potatoes harvested just before the first frost. There is a downside. Late season blight is a real risk for potatoes this time of year. So it's one more reason that this is a bit of a roll of the dice. Okay, now we're on to the middle of the month, 10 through the 20th. As we move into the middle of July, the focus shifts towards crops that don't mind the heat but are also quick enough to mature before the frost. This would be a good time to sow fast-growing leafy greens and flexible cool weather crops. First up, lettuce. Now, lettuce in midsummer can be tricky. It's prone to bolting. That's when it shoots up a flower stalk and turns bitter. But the trick is choosing the right varieties. Look for heat-tolerant types like Red Sales, or Jericho, or Butter Crunch. These can handle the heat for better than average spring lettuce. Plant them in a spot that gets afternoon shade or rig up a bit of a shade cloth, and they'll thrive. Plus, the days are still long enough for a quick turnaround. You could be harvesting in just 3 to 4 weeks. And speaking of lettuce, I've been chatting with our channel member, Jerry D, and I just mailed her some of my favorite lettuce varieties from my home saved seed collection. Jerry, thank you for being a channel member. If you're watching this and want to support the channel and even get seed packets in your mailbox, consider becoming a member. And if you are a member, don't hesitate to message me. I'm more than happy to share these and all seeds that I make here with you. Right alongside lettuce, I'm planting another round of chard. Chard loves this window. It doesn't bolt in the heat like lettuce can, and it keeps producing well into the fall, even after a couple of light frosts. Think of chard as the summer to fall workhorse. Kohlrabi and turnips are another mid-July favorite. They grow fast, about 45 days to harvest, and it doesn't mind the summer heat as long as it stays well watered. It'll mature right into that nice early fall weather. Plus, kohlrabi is one of those crops that gets overlooked, but once you grow it, I think you'll be surprised by how many ways that you can prepare it in the kitchen. I enjoy home cooking almost as much as gardening. They're two hobbies that go hand in hand perfectly. And if you're still here, as I always say, you're amongst my favorite viewers. Let me know that you're still here by dropping favorite in the comments. And tell me, would you be interested in seeing some cooking videos from me, whether it is on this channel or maybe even a brand new one? I'd love to hear what you think. Let's get back on track. This is also a perfect time to get your winter radishes in the ground. Things like daikon, watermelon radish, or China rose. These aren't your quick spring salad radishes. These are big, hardy radishes that take their time to size up. If you plant them too early, they bolt. If you plant them too late, they don't mature before frost. Mid to late July is the sweet spot. Now, let's not forget about the herbs. Dill, parsley, cilantro, they all do surprisingly well when planted in mid-July. The key with these is that while they can technically grow earlier, they often struggle in the peak heat of June. But by late July into August, the nights start to cool just enough that they really take off. Cilantro especially prefers fall. It hates summer heat and will bolt immediately. But planting it now, it'll sprout quickly and thrive as the weather changes. The common thread for mid-July is this. You're planting crops that either mature fast enough to beat frost or that love fall conditions and use these summer weeks to get established. You've still got time, but the clock is ticking. Okay, now we're in the final part of the month. July 20th through the 31st. As the month winds down, it's all about preparing fall-specific crops. Winter radishes like daikon and China rose, like we just talked about. You can still plant those at the end of the month. They hate spring but thrive as the summer cools off. This is also a time to get in Chinese cabbage, Napa cabbage, or other Asian greens, designed for late season harvest. They'll grow fast as the days get shorter, and cooler weather helps them form crisp, dense heads without bolting. If you're behind on lettuce or herbs, late July is still a safe bet for more rounds, especially with the promise of cooler nights just around the bend. So that's the July game plan. If you get these crops in on time, your garden is going to stay productive straight through the fall and possibly into early winter with the right timing and protection. If you found this video helpful, make sure to check out my garden update playlist, where you can follow along and see how all of these crops are growing in real time. I'm Andrew Wilkinson, and this is Low Effort Gardening, and as always, thanks for watching.